Hello and welcome back, everyone. So we're going to talk with Deborah Fisher from Fish Museum, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's been doing, what inspires her. And here she is. Hello, Deborah.
Hi.
How are you today?
Okay, I hope I did this right. I feel like I made a complete mess of this, and I apologized for last week for messing up my time zones.
No worries. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I always feel that things happen at the right time. The universe generally kind of has a way of working things out, and I actually think it's really lovely that we can kind of be wrapping up today, which is the last day of the Making Zen Retreat. Your workshop just happens to be on today as well, so it's a really wonderful opportunity for people to have a chat with you, ask any questions that they might have about the workshop, and we can have just a wonderful chat about making and creativity. So it all happened at the right time, I think.
Well, good, because I had convinced myself that I was completely right about everything, and I had it on my schedule, and so.
Yeah, well, that's time zones for you. And I'm constantly doing a double check between, sorry, I'm just trying to fit my head in the little square. Maybe I should just move down a bit. Always double checking and rechecking, because that's kind of one of the things that I guess with my family in Australia, I'm always like, oh, what time is it over there? Because I don't want to wake them up in the middle of the night if I'm calling them and all that kind of stuff. But never mind, no drama. I'm pleased that you're here today, and absolutely thrilled that you're one of the amazing artists as part of Making Zen. From the comments that I've been receiving about your workshop, everybody's having an absolute ball. And I'm just wondering, because I just love everything about you, perhaps you could maybe share some of what inspires you, where you get your inspiration to create your quirky characters and images.
They really come from all different areas, whether it's from, a funny looking plant or animal that I see somewhere, or just the shape of anything, really. I have a friend who is, excuse me, a writer, and she writes fantasy books, and she always says that she follows the rule of awesome. So she'll make a whole list of things that she thinks are awesome, and then she'll write about them. And so I always try to follow that rule. Like, if I think something's going to be awesome, then I just try it, and I hope that other people think it's awesome too.
I love that. That is such a cool way of looking at things too, because if you don't think something is awesome, it generally means you don't like it very much. So why bother investing time in something that you don't enjoy doing? So you could even have, like, when you're writing down your list of awesome, you could even like number them. So number one, awesome thing, number two, awesome thing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun. And I'm curious, what came first? Were you doing textiles and then you kind of moved into ceramics, or you moved from ceramics into textiles, or was it kind of like just a lovely natural progression simultaneously?
I am really a textile person. That's kind of how I think about what I do, and kind of my sensibilities. I've always used a lot of different materials and media, but and I've done ceramics here and there over the years until I really started using it for my business and more on a regular basis about 6-7 years ago. But I'm really, my first love is really textiles, and the ceramics kind of came by just by chance, where I was taking a class and making ceramics, and I said, well, how could I get the ceramics to be related to the textiles? And that's how I started making pin cushions. And that's how I related it. And then the pin cushions just became very popular. So other people thought they were awesome. So I just kept going with that. But I'm really I'm really a textile person at heart.
Mm. Right, okay. What made you enter the realm of ceramics then? What was it, wanting to make something, or yeah, I'm just curious.
Well, I had kind of on and off, through art school. I had taken some ceramics. I had actually been an assistant for a ceramics studio many years ago, just things here or there. And actually, it was my father who was a woodworker and was looking to try something else. And he was going to take a local ceramics class. And I kind of offhand said, "Oh, that sounds like fun." And he said, "Why don't you come with me?" And so I thought, okay, sure, why not? And so I started taking classes. And I had, as I said, had experience kind of before with ceramics, but it was just kind of a fun thing to do with my dad and to make things for our house. And that's really how it started.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, how many things can I really make for our house? Let me see what else I can do.
That's the thing with ceramics, isn't it? Like, once you've thrown a couple of bowls and a couple of mugs and a couple of vases, then what? So it's you can only have so many, right? And then you can only gift so many. So it's nice that you've been able to find an outlet where you enjoy making them and people enjoy them as well. And I guess the reason why I was curious to find out your kind of journey into ceramics is because I am a textile person by heart as well, and we've had a couple of nice comments coming in from people saying yes, they're a textile artist at heart, and they absolutely love your pincushions. And so yeah, I love textiles, and I really wanted to take my designs, because I was doing screen printing on fabric, and translate those into ceramics.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of my journey into ceramics. And up until that stage, I wasn't really keen on it because I loved the tactility of fabric. I wasn't so keen on the clay and getting my hands wet and all that kind of stuff too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was just curious to know what was the path that took you that way.
Yeah, it's in many ways, I feel like ceramics is related to textiles. You can do so many textile techniques in ceramics. I like, and even though ceramics, there is a lot of directness when I do mostly hand building. So and even with wheel throwing, you're directly working with it. There's a lot of kind of mystery to me about what goes on in the kiln, and kind of what's going to happen. And I like textiles is that it's really direct for the whole process. For me, I know a lot of ceramicists love that kind of magic, chemistry, alchemy that happens. I like things a little more controlled than that in general, though.
Yes, that's so true. I remember when I used to do a lot of ceramics, we'd always say a little prayer to the kiln gods, so that everything would get through the firing without being exploding or shattering or cracking or any one of those number of things that ceramics can do in the firing process. But it is quite a magical experience, because quite often the glazes go on one color and they come out a different color, and there's a whole lot of, it's a rabbit hole that you can go down to go in through as well.
Yes. Yeah. Although I find so much of that very frustrating, because I want to see what color it's going to be. I don't want to have to wait through everything. So
yeah, that's so true. It's quite an interesting experience. And I could talk about ceramics forever, but I'm sure everybody would rather hear about you and your beautiful textiles and what you do. And so I was preparing for our conversation today, and I noticed that you also do so many more fabulous things: stickers, fabrics, patchwork. Would you like to share a little bit about them and maybe some of the inspiration behind some of them?
So I just do a lot of different things. I think I'm easily kind of, I don't know, maybe I feel like I'm easily bored with one thing. I really admire people who can pick one material and work on it for, you know, years and years and years. There are things that I love about ceramics, and there's things that I love about sewing, and there's things that I love about drawing. And so I kind of try to bring them all together in theme of sewing, of home making, you know, people who are making from home. So and I did start out with sewing and textiles, so I continue to design sewing patterns, and I have fabric lines with Wyndham Fabrics, and then I have a little bit more recently been taking some of those drawings that I've been doing and making them into stickers and prints and other things for people who like to sew and who want to have those fun things. Those fun things in their studio or their house.
And they're super fun. I've moved on from that page. Let's see, but some of them I just absolutely love. There was one which was, oh, that's right, the incomplete chart of not to scale happiness, which I absolutely adore. And it's got a whole lot of imagery of scissors and sewing implements, and there's a little fluffy dog in there, and I just really beautiful kind of stuff. So I would recommend, if you haven't yet checked out Deborah's website, please do, because there's so much fun stuff there, just with all of the posters and the stickers and all those kind of fun things. And going back to your fabric designs, what inspired you with those? Was it because you kind of felt like you were after a certain style or a certain color or a certain look, and you just felt like there wasn't the fabric available that you wanted for your own patchworks?
In some ways, yes. I think many people who sew think about, oh, if I could design my own fabric, I would do this. Fabric design in the way of working with a company is a very collaborative process, really. So that has been a whole nother experience for me, to learn about how that works and see what comes out of that I wasn't necessarily expecting. And it's anybody who makes handmade things knows how much time it takes and how much effort it takes. And as I kind of evolved my business, I was looking to find outlets and find areas that weren't so time consuming in terms of individually making items. So that's where kind of some of it comes from. And it's just also another material, it's another medium, it's kind of another adventure in making things.
Yeah, yep. I think that's so true. So did the fabrics come before the patchwork, or did the patchwork come before the fabrics?
I have been sewing really for a long time. And I did, I actually wrote two books of sewing patterns. And then I collaborated with somebody else for Trixie Simmons. We did a softie book. But so I have a book of patchwork quilt patterns and a book of some quilt patterns and some lots of other items for kids, dolls and toys and things like that. So yeah, the patchwork came before the fabric.
Fabulous. And where can people go to if they would like to purchase your books?
They're on my website also.
Website is best?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you do a little Google search, you can probably find them in other places, especially if you're in other countries where shipping is a problem from here, because of course shipping from the US to other countries is just expensive. So, but you can find all the information about the books on my website, so you can put in the titles or whatever else.
Find them that way. Out of all of the projects that you've created, do you have a favorite?
Oh, oh, that's hard.
You know, I was just thinking that's a very tricky question. It's probably like asking you your favorite child or something like that. So you're allowed to have a few answers if you wish.
I think the answer, I've heard this answer from people before who have been asked that question. It's like the latest project, right? That I hopefully I'm most excited about my newest fabric collection. And I'm most excited about the newest ceramic things. And I'm going to show you one just because it's right here.
Yes, please.
This is a preview. Nobody has seen these before. So I started making these turtles. People like a lot of turtle things. They just kind of are funny. But so I made these big turtle pin cushions, and my daughter started telling me about island turtles, which I'd never heard of before, where they're turtles that have islands on their backs. So when they're swimming in the water, they have this island on their back. And I thought she was totally serious, of course, but they're not. They're like fantasy creatures. But that's okay. Either way, it's fine. So I made like like a turtle pin cushion with like an island
gorgeous
on his back. So now I'm doing like a little series of these guys. And so like right now, they're my favorite because they're here and I'm excited about them, and I followed the rule of awesome, and I decided that would be awesome to do that. So
yeah, totally. Well, you're getting a flood of hearts and fire from sharing those turtles, and quite rightly so. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I love them. Like you say, they're the rule of awesome. Are they available for sale yet, or if not, how can people find out how to get them?
They're not. This is the only one that's actually finished. The others are in. I'll show you. This is they're still in ceramic mode here.
Ooh.
This is unfired.
Yeah.
Waiting to go in the kiln. So because the ceramics sell out so quickly, you will find that most of the time, there aren't any on the website. There is a tab that says ceramics. It's usually there's nothing there, or stuff is sold out because they do sell it quickly. So I recommend that you sign up for the email newsletter, which there's all kinds of places on the website to be able to do that. And I announce listing times, dates and times. I do try to alternate times and days to accommodate all kinds of time zones, which I'm obviously not great at time zones, but I do try to create some kind of variety. And the email newsletter goes out every first and third Thursday of the month, and I will have photographs and of what's going to be available at a specific date and time. And that's the only way to know when the ceramics is being listed.
Yeah. Oh, I can see that there, I'm sure, because I'm just thinking about myself. A lot of people will be like anxiously sitting at their computer waiting to send you that email or whatever, so that they can choose the appropriate ceramic or pincushion or whatever it is. That's a fun way of doing it.
And it'll be a while before the turtles are there, just because ceramics is such a process in terms of firing and drying and firing and glazing and firing and all of that. So
yeah,
there's a lot of lead time.
Yeah. How many do you like to make in one batch, so to speak?
I'll have 6 of these, and then I've got, like I just did, I think 8 of something else. I like to make kind of little, sometimes they're kind of all very similar, and then sometimes they're just variations of something else. This time of year, I do like to throw in a few extra things that are not necessarily sewing related, but more creative home related. And I just made a bunch of ring holders.
Oh, fun.
We call them ring things or ring thingamals. So not exactly sewing, but creative home things.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Oh, you must have such a ball just playing in your studio and creating your thingamals.
Well, I've been extremely fortunate that they have been so well received, and it's, I'm just constantly amazed at how lucky I am to be able to do this all the time and to be able to, they seem to make people happy, and that makes me happy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, I think your like your website and your Instagram and everything has this very positive, awesome vibe to it. So I think it's a beautiful reflection of you, and it's hard not to respond so beautifully to such quirky little thingamals that aren't quite one thing or another. You know, they leave a bit to the imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I could see a book. Is that something that you've ever thought about, writing a book for your thingamals, like a fiction kind of thing?
Um, you know, it's one of those kind of in the back of my mind things. Maybe someday, maybe someday.
It sounds like you should team up with your daughter, and the two of you could come up with a pretty awesome book, I reckon.
Yes.
How old is she to be talking about turtle islands,
She's
island
15.
turtles?
She's
15.
15. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. So when she was telling you that, because I guess she probably had an idea in her mind about what she was thinking, and you then interpreted it in another way. Has she met your interpretation of an island turtle yet?
Um, I think so. I think so. You know, we kind of we looked them up together, and I was like, wait, what is that? And then um I was like, oh, these aren't real. And she's like, no. I love it when my kids get smarter than me, you know, and they were pretty young when that happened. So um but yeah, so yeah, she approved. She approved of this one.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, well, it's pretty fun, and I know everybody's looking forward to seeing them being created and then signing up for your newsletter and being able to get them, because I think that's pretty awesome, um, to be on your list of awesomeness,
Mm-hmm.
things of awesome. So, talking about what you've created for the Making Zen Retreat, your workshop that's available now, what inspired you to create these beautiful little containers?
These are kind of a variation of a pattern that I had done for a magazine a number of years ago. And as I was kind of looking over the spring workshops and trying to kind of get kind of into the Making Zen vibe of things, I thought, well, this would be a great this could be a great project. And I do like making little things, and I like to make, you know, sweet little things. So I you know, just did a variation of it, and I had not figured out beforehand the laminating of so I have used 3mm wool before for these boxes. I'm just looking, I have them right here. So this is like 3mm wool. But then I know that's not always available to everybody. So I did this lamination of the wool. So that was kind of an exciting new development, that could happen, and that there could be multicolored layers of this that were happening. So that was fun. And you know, like who doesn't love like little containers to put things in?
Absolutely. And they look so delicious too when you combine those layers of colors. I guess it's a bit like a licorice all sort, or a little cupcake, or something like that.
Yeah.
Making my mouth water. And I also noticed that you like to work with wool, and you specified working with wool for that project. Is that because of the lamination issues, or do you prefer working with natural materials?
I love all materials really, but I do love wool felt especially. I just find that it's so much nicer to work with and it's more beautiful. And I have never seen 3mm felt in anything but wool. And so that is, it's just a really a wonderful material, which is fairly new actually in the United States. I had never seen it before until I went to Barcelona about 11 years ago, and I saw it there. And that is where I first bought 3mm wool felt. And now it's more readily available, but it was the most exciting thing ever to discover that there was this 3mm, and then to find this tiny little store with this little man who only spoke Catalan, and it was just a whole wonderful thing. But also for the laminating, you're going to be ironing at really hot temperature, so you only want to melt the fusible web in between. You don't actually want to melt the felt, which would happen if you used non-wool wool felt.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And it could make a big mess. I mean, it could be an interesting mess nonetheless, but maybe not what you're planning.
And maybe not what you want on your iron or your ironing board.
No, exactly.
So, if you're going to test it out, just make sure that you protect your iron, protect your ironing board, and see what happens. So.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So what's that? I guess a piece of parchment paper or greaseproof paper, something like that, to just keep things contained.
I've never used either one of those, but they might. I have something called, I think it's called a goddess sheet, where it's kind of like almost like a Teflon sheet. But I will also just use like a piece of muslin or just a thin piece of fabric that I don't, mind getting destroyed if that's what happens.
Yeah, that's good advice, because you don't want to accidentally melt something using your favorite iron on your favorite ironing board cover, that kind of thing.
I think we've all been there, probably.
Yes, I have a good iron for clothes and an art iron for things that can be experimental.
Good idea.
For that reason. Well, that's exciting. I really love that you've experimented with how you can layer up felts together, because I was wondering if you were using like a wet felting process or a needle felting process. So, because each of them would give you different results, right. I imagine, too.
Yes, and I'm sure I would think that would be a wonderful thing to experiment with. And I may go try that now because it never really occurred to me. So I think that would be fantastic to see how that changes. And I wonder how, the density of the felt would react with the needle felting. There's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, there really is, isn't there? That's got my mind thinking about it too. Just like you say, it would different reactions to the different processes, and there's something nice and immediate about the fusible interfacing. And I just love stitching through wool too. That's such I don't know, there's something sumptuous about being able to stitch through wool and feel it in your fingers. Yeah. And the other beautiful thing, talking about feeling things in our fingers, is you've provided a wonderful bonus for people who choose to purchase the all access, the VIP ticket. We'll change the term of them. Would you like to share with us what that is?
So this is the paper version, although for the VIP pass, it's obviously a PDF version. This is, I don't know if that is showing up the right way or not, but it's called So Good Pincushions Pattern. This is my most popular sewing pattern. And there are 5 different pincushions that you can make. All the instructions. There is the large person. Aww. And these are great for all kinds of embellishments. I've seen lots of pictures of people who have made these and done all kinds of wonderful embellishments on the large person. This is the smaller person. There is the strawberry.
Oh, cute.
There's a little bird, and there is just a simple round. And this is this comes with all of the, the full pattern. And it's a great introduction, especially to making 3-dimensional things out of 2-dimensional shapes. I think there are many quilters and people who sew who I find they're often a little nervous about making 3-dimensional objects. And so this is really these kind of small things are really a great introduction to saying, okay, this is a weird shaped pattern, but it's going to create this.
Yes. Yeah. Ah, very interesting. And are they also, what are some of the recommended fabrics that you use to create those?
This pattern was originally made in quilting cottons because it went with my first fabric collection for Wyndham Fabrics, but I have done them in many other things. I actually love to make the strawberries out of felted wool, different than wool felted wool. Although I'm sure you could probably do it out of wool felt also. But I love to make them out of felted wool fabric because there's like a little bit more of a stretch. So you get this kind of nice little kind of roundedness. I think you could make them out of any number of types of materials, and if you're going to use them as a pin cushion, just make sure that it's suitable for, nothing that's really too dense, because then you'll have trouble with your pins and things. Yeah, that's a very good recommendation. Nothing worse than making a pin cushion and not being able to put your pins on the inside. Yes.
Actually, that's a good point, because I remember we had a conversation about the best kind of things to put inside a pin cushion. Do you have any suggestions or recommendations on that?
So almost all of my pin cushions, I put in crushed walnut shells. I find that, and there's certainly many other things you could put inside, but some people use like polyfill, some people use wool, some people just use scraps of things that they have. I use crushed walnut shells. I like the weight of it. I find that, for example, if a strawberry was stuffed with polyfill, it's going to be so much lighter, and it's just going to be like flying all over the place. But with the crushed walnut shells, it just has a little bit of kind of weight and heft and kind of a nice little
presence.
Yeah.
With the walnut shell, is that also helpful for keeping the ends of the pins sharp? Is that one of those?
Some people say that.
Yeah.
I can't say that I really noticed a big difference. But that is, some people do say that. I have used emery which is when those traditional tomato pin cushions with the little strawberry that's attached. The strawberry would have emery in it. And that is supposed to sharpen your needles. Emery is very fine, very messy, expensive, so I don't really use it very often, but if you do want that particular trait, that would be the way to go.
Then you can use that too. Food for thought. All these different options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yes, yeah, make sure, because I've gone through the process of making a pin cushion and stuffing it with some things which were meant that it was too hard to actually push your pin into. So I like your suggestion of using the crushed walnut shells or something that's got a little bit of give and a nice weight to it as well. I would say.
And if you
Yeah.
do make a lot of them, I recommend that it's actually used as like a reptile bedding.
Ah.
So like I buy it in like 5 or 10 pound bags. Most people don't make that many pin cushions, and you might not need a 5 or 10 pound bag. But you could get together with people and do that, because it's much less expensive in kind of in that bulk, as opposed to trying to buy like a little package from that's just rebranded as a pin cushion stuffing. So
You're brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that tip's going to make so many people's days. Can it get together and have like a walnut shell party and kind of divvy up big bags?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. And I've just noticed the time. Deborah, I could chat with you all day. It's been an absolute delight to connect with you. Absolutely love all of your work, and thrilled that you're part of the Making Zen Online Retreat and that you're sharing your list of awesomeness with the world.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's really been a wonderful experience, and I've learned just so much from all of the other presenters, and even just myself. You know, making the video was a huge kind of learning curve for me, and I just really appreciate the opportunity and the experience of it all. So thank you.
Well, you're most welcome, and I'm so pleased to hear that. I'm glad you have really enjoyed it, and the Making Zen community is so beautiful. No doubt you've been seeing wonderful comments from everybody as they've been making your following along with your workshop, and those who have bought the VIP pass have delved into some of the goodies as well, your wonderful bonus. And so yeah, I'm thrilled. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day playing in the studio. I can't wait to see some more of the island turtles coming into being. And we've got some comments coming in. Unbusying is saying the best community, and I have to admit, yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you again. It's been a delight. Much love to you. And thank you everyone for joining our conversation today and following along for the Making Zen Online Retreat event. It's been an absolute hoot, and so much creativity is happening. It's just wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.